What's up, guys? It's Bradu. It's a whole new month. It's March 2nd, which means I didn't do a video yesterday. The only reason for that really is because when I did have a good time to shoot a video, I hadn't done any art yet. So it would have been kind of silly. I did my art cast video that was Saturday morning, so that was February 28th. So I finished off the month good. I did my I counted up, I think I had 44 sketch cards done in the whole month. So that was good. It was like 1.5 a day, basically, on average. I did at least one every day. So I met my goal for last month, and I talked about this on the Artcast, the last Artcast I did, but moving forward I'm going to continue drawing every day, but I'm changing my changing things around a little bit just because I was getting stuck in the mode of trying to complete one card at any cost, and sometimes it was kind of backwards to do that. So I'm going to keep drawing every day, and it's March Madness, which means I will be experimenting a lot. It will be art madness. However, one of my goals that I keep talking about is I was going to try and experiment every day, and I'm not sure that's going to happen for a couple weeks. And here's why. This will kind of take over the next week or so. I got another baseball set I'm working on, and I just got the deadline this morning, and it's sooner. It's not like they moved the deadline up. They had kind of said mid-March, but they just gave me the firm deadline this morning, and as I look at it, I only have one weekend between now and then, so I'm gonna really have to rush on those. So until I finish that set, I'm not gonna be doing experimenting every day probably. There still will be days that I do. Yesterday I did get in some good experimenting, and I finished semi-finished sketch card, and that is this. I'll show it to you guys. I'm not proud of it, but I'm also not, it's fine for what it is, you know, an experiment. Little sketch card of Caesar from the newer Planet of the Apes movies. And I did this with, I got them here. I bought just a couple ballpoint pens or gel pens or something like that, Bic Velocity gel, and it came in a pack with blue, red, and black. So I only used those three. And then I did use white, and that was kind of a mess. I used 2 or 3 different gel pens, none of which worked over the, like, to do the highlights. You can kind of see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see on the video, but it just kind of, it didn't really highlight over the top. It kind of mixed in with the blues and blacks and stuff. And I did some white ink. That didn't work. And then I finally tried gouache. Some white gouache. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to get any highlights on a card like that. And it kind of made me want to paint, which I haven't done in forever. But to do the gouache, I use a tiny little brush like this one. That's actually bigger than the one that I use. But I got a couple brushes here. Is this the one here? Yeah, this is the one that I used. You can barely see it because it's tiny. 20-0, I guess, is the size. I don't like those tiny little brushes. Probably just because I don't know how to use them that well. Whatever. So, anyway, so I experimented yesterday. I actually experimented for about a half hour today, drawing with blue and red pencils, which I picked up about a week ago but hadn't really tried out. And I wouldn't say, it's not like I've tried them out now, but I started a little sketch, and for my underlying sketch I did blue and red instead of a... So we'll see. I'll probably actually keep working on that at some point. Part of the problem I'm having with that, so this one I drew really fast, the Caesar. And I still spent a good hour plus on it. But I wasn't nearly as meticulous as I usually am when I draw. I mean, I had already done the I'd already done a light pencil. I was gonna do this one in markers. It's on watercolor paper like I often use with markers, and so I was gonna do that as one of my marker ones this month, and then I was just like, yesterday I felt like, oh, I got to do some experimenting because I keep talking about doing that. And I actually am glad I made this decision. I get myself stuck into like everything has to be the right way. I have to do things the right way. And so I was going to like wait. You know what I mean? Oh, that was going to be a marker one. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I need to experiment. I just got these new ballpoint pens or gel pens or whatever. And I'm going to draw this one. And if I want to do it again later in markers, I will. You know, it wasn't a commission or anything. So it's just like, I'm going to go for it. And so I did pretty quick, like scribbling in, just trying to see how it worked. And I kind of like it. It sadly did make me want to go in with markers, though, because it takes a long time filling in spaces, especially, you know, larger areas of clumps of hair and stuff with a little pen. So I was like, man, it'd be so much quicker if I could just brush in my marker like I normally would. And I might still go over it with marker. I don't know, because I don't really love the way it looks, but it's kind of cool because his face was kind of red in the photo because he's got like the war paint on and stuff. So I don't know. First day of experimenting was a success for sure. Anyway, going back to the baseball set. So a nice thing is I got an email from them this morning, and I asked if it's cool if I do some of that on an Artcast, and I got the okay for that. So probably tomorrow I hope I'll do an Artcast instead of a short talking video, and I will work on those on camera. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be different, and I'm sure I'll have plenty of time to talk about that while I'm doing an Artcast of it. But they're very unique sketch cards, and I'll have a little smaller surface to draw on than usual, and it's a little different too because of the card design. But they're cool. They're cool. So I'm glad that they gave the okay on that because that's kind of all I'm going to have to be working on that pretty much for the next week and a half or whatever till they're due. I have almost 2 weeks, but like I said, that's only one weekend in between. So that means I'll be doing them, you know, every day after work. If I had 2 weekends, I would feel a heck of a lot more comfortable about it. Because if I could take Saturday and Sunday all day, boom, done. I'd be doing my experiments in between. But I'm gonna have to focus mostly on finishing that setup first. And once that's done, I should have another set. I've got 2 other sets coming to me. I don't have the blanks yet. But both of those are small. I have a small number to do and more time. So I'll be able to experiment a little more once the middle of the month hits and this next set, this next baseball one is done. Man, there was other things on my mind earlier. I'm not sure right now what they are. My first 2 things I've done this month were little black and blue, or not black and blue, red and blue experiments. And I do like that color combination. Let me give credit where credit's due. The reason I picked up those pens is because I saw the presidential portraits for the Pastime Presidents set, which releases this month on the 15th, I think. Let me plug that real quick because I'm in on that set. The set is from Pastime. If you go to I think it's pastimecards.com, you can order, and it's $45 for the whole base set, which is like, I think it's 44 base cards, and then 3 special insert cards, which I think could include a presidential autograph, and then 1 original sketch card, which could be from any artist who contributed on the set. So I think that's a really good deal. I mean, that's less than $50. I mean, $50 for just a sketch card would be a decent deal, and you got all this other stuff. So anyway, if you're interested in that, that's not a bad buy. Having said that, where I was going with that is one artist who worked on that set as well. His name's Eric Muller, or it might be Mueller. I've heard people say Mueller, but it's spelled like Muller. Anyway, he did all of his in black and blue pens, or black, blue, and red pens. And I thought they turned out really awesome, and I was like, dang, and he said he does them pretty quick. So that was kind of why I was like, I just want to try out some new stuff, and when I saw those pens, I grabbed them, and it's like, let's try that. And I did do a drawing like that, 10 years ago or something, of Matt Suave Horwich, UFC, eccentric UFC fighter. He's a cool guy. Anyway, I did a drawing of him way back then. He was training at Team Quest at the time, and so I got to talk to him a couple times and take photos while he was training and stuff. And I didn't love that drawing by any stretch, but I do think there's some promise with that. I don't know that I'm gonna try and do a bunch of completed drawings, but that's, it's an experiment, like I said. Maybe I'll go back in and use markers over the top too. It's a good first one. Now I'm really rambling. I thought this would be a 3-minute video because I didn't have anything to show really other than the one sketch card or talk about. But I also thought I was gonna do an art cast today. I'm kind of handcuffed for the time being because I got the deadline from Topps about this set, and it's coming up really shortly, so I need to get going on it. But at the same time, they said they wanted to talk about kind of specifications for what reference photos I'll use or whatnot. And so I'm waiting to hear back from them about that before I go too far in it. And yet I feel like that's what I need to be working on. So I'm not complaining about them. I get it. Like, the guy just got my email this morning. But I also know I've got not a lot of time to work. So tonight, even though I didn't hear back from them, I think I'm just going to start one anyway. I already started a couple, just a light pencil sketch. So maybe that's what I'll do, is just try and do some of the penciling, which I could erase if I need to. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like that's what I need to do tonight, and I need to put in a couple hours. So anyway, that's where I am. So this month's going to be a little different than I thought, just because the experiments will have to wait. But not too bad, and I still think I'll do little experiments here and there, because I really want to get into that mode where I'm just thinking outside the box and thinking of new ideas. And it's one of those things, I jot down ideas all the time, and unless you start doing it, it just keeps going to the back of the line or the back of my mind or whatever. So I was glad to get some new stuff and start some new stuff and do some experimenting. So I will catch you guys tomorrow, and hopefully I'll do an art cast. Maybe not a super long one, but like, I don't know, 20 minutes or half an hour of me drawing on a new baseball card. All right, see you guys then.